It's a bird. It's a plane. It's super atheist.
Talk, shop, pop, movies.
Ahoy there, this is Derek, the convicted cinephile. If you're a convicted cinephile yourself, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel down below. On my channel, I like to talk, shop, and pop open, that is, movies and physical media. And this is going to be a little different video for me, obviously. I've seen the most recent Superman film, along with most other people. I quite enjoyed it. Go watch my Superman live action film ranking video I did a couple days ago, where I rank all 8 solo Superman films. So I don't include Batman vs. Superman, but I do include the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2. This is a much different video. I'm going to be doing a talking point about some spoiler-esque things in the film, not too much. I'll put a warning up if anything is crazy spoilery. It's really just talking about one topic that is actually dividing fans quite a bit about the new film, something that I quite enjoy, and I'll explain why, that some people don't like for their whatever reason they have. So, like I said, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. I do have a membership, but no pressure. I just did it for shits and giggles. But it exists, so give it a look. Check out my merch stores. Some of them are clever. Back to the video. This goes back a long way. Ever since 1938, when Superman was invented, it has always been a religious allegory of sorts. I jokingly refer to Superman as Super Moses a lot of the time, and you know why if you know anything about Superman. Superman's original creators, Siegel and Schuster, were Jewish, and the Superman story being sent to Earth as an infant parallels that of the story of Moses, as we mostly all know. So that is where the story starts at, but everyone knows that. Like I said, the Richard Donner films are very loyal to that story, and they have the classic origin story like that. I love that film. Obviously, I grew up watching all the Superman films with Christopher Reeve. He will always and forever be my Superman, no matter how good everyone else is, and there has always been pretty damn good Superman out there. Zack Snyder's Man of Steel has essentially the same story, origin story, except throughout the film, he very subtly hints that it's much more of a Christ-like figure as opposed to Moses. James Gunn's Superman, on the other hand, while it doesn't directly show us Kal-El's origin story journeying to Earth, it does have the same story. It is hint on throughout the film. I'm glad they didn't just show the whole damn thing again because I've seen it 100 times. So some people might not like that they don't show the whole baby being sent to Earth. I like not having it, just like I like not having Spider-Man's getting bit by a spider in all the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. But they do hint at it throughout the film, nonetheless. And that's where the inspiration for this super atheist video comes in. I'm not claiming that Gunn is an atheist, whether or not. I will put up the text. I did a little research. I'm not going to say I looked into this heavily, but that doesn't really matter. I just wanted to throw that out there that I'm not claiming that he is absolutely atheist, and that's why this is super atheist. So I'm not trying to say that James Gunn is absolutely atheist, and that's why I agree with him for reasons because if you know me at all, in fact, am. But the fact that I am not and never have been even slightly religious, even as a child. That doesn't affect my ability to enjoy these stories in any way because the religious undertones don't matter to me. All that religion is to me is interesting stories that you can apply to real life. And that's really all religion is and always has been, in my opinion. And here comes the big spoiler alert part for anyone else who hasn't seen the movie and doesn't want to keep watching. I'll just say that. Big flashing red letters, perhaps. This is why I love this version of Superman in James Gunn's film. One of, if not the most debated plot point of the film, has to do with Superman's Kryptonian parents and the fact that they did not send him here to save or serve mankind, but rather to essentially take over and spread his seed to create a new Krypton. He's not the Super Moses or Super Jesus character that we've had in past iterations of the films, and that's what I love about it. Like I said, I have no grudge against stories like this having their religious allegory. Most versions of Superman have that in there at least a little bit. This one technically does because he is still the Super Moses sent to Earth as a baby. But this version is actually depicted in several versions of the comic as well. A lot of people don't realize that. They think James Gunn just changed this on his own accord and ruined Superman's backstory. But no, this is in there. Like I said, this character's been around for 90 years or so. Things need to change to stay interesting. Stories like this have been told and retold and retold over and over and over into slightly different versions of essentially the same story. And do you know what other things are like that? Religious texts. They are often the same basic story retold with different characters and different versions of the same character over and over and over in different languages from different parts of the world. So I guess you could say comic books are like the new religion. But back to my real point of why I prefer this version of Superman and his purpose, if you will. Taking away his sent here to be your savior purpose makes him even more inherently good in every way than he typically is. I always argue that the fear of going to hell and the reward of going to heaven are completely bogus. Because if someone does something good only because they get a reward for it, and they don't do something bad in fear of something bad happening to them, those are not genuinely good people. And obviously, not all religious people are like this. I'm not saying that. I am related to many of them, and they are essentially all good people. But the fact that it's more than zero is too many, in my opinion. And this version of the character is the opposite of that. He is purely the product of good environment between the first hopeful half of his message he gets from his parents before he finds out the truth of what is on the rest of the message, and just his great upbringing with his adopted parents, the Kents, and even with the infinite power that he has, essentially, and the knowledge that he was sent there to essentially dominate Earthlings, he chooses to be good. And not because of the reward of what might happen if he's good and the fear of what might happen if he isn't, but because it's the right thing to do. It doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. Being a good human being is the most powerful thing you can be. And that's what Superman is to me. So that's all I had to say. Sorry if I spoiled something for you, but I warned you. Once again, my name is Derek, the Convicted Cinephile. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel down below. Let me know what you feel about this version of the character. Do you agree with removing some of the religious undertones that the previous versions of the character has? I think it makes him an inherently better character. It shows how strong he truly is without having this you're a god purpose resting on his back the whole time. So I'd like to know what you think. Apologize if I offended anyone. Not really, I don't care. I'm just talking about what I believe. And you're allowed to do that too. Who'd have thought?
Talk, shop, pop, movies.